Yes, of course. Thank you very much for having us once again. My name is Alejandro Barrera. Will be one of two interpreters working with my colleague Sam. Thank you all for your patience as I provide these instructions in Spanish. Hola a todos, mi nombre es Alejandro Barrera, soy uno de los intérpretes que interpretando a español el día de hoy junto con mi colega Sam. Si usted prefiere escuchar en español, podrá seleccionar el icono que va a mano derecha en la parte de abajo de su pantalla. Seleccionando esa configuración de la interpretación podrás seleccionar en español. Si hay ingresado juntos a tu dispositivo móvil, como tableta o celular, verá la opción de la interpretación bajo los tres puntitos que dicen más o en inglés more. De ambos modos podrás seleccionar en español y si es necesario para usted poner el audio original en silencio justo abajo. Por eso es todo. Muchas gracias. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Alejandro. Welcome to the general public comment session of February 3rd. We're going to convene our regular meeting. Council provides a half-hour general public comment session to hear from the public on any city matter, except for those scheduled for legally required for the hearing. To maximize time for resident comment, council will not offer comments or responses from the dais. Council or staff may contact speakers following the comment. Please raise hand to let themselves follow. For those participating in person on the call, please come to the podium. Honor on the wall, you'll see your time counting down. For those participating virtually, we call the conference so that meeting host promotes you to speaker. When you're promoted, please accept the promotion, turn on your camera if you have one, and your microphone. All speakers should begin their remarks by telling council your name. You will have 3 minutes to speak. Please rephrase your profane or obscene speech. Direct your comments to council as a whole, and refrain from individual or personal attacks, including disparaging other speakers' comments. We will begin with our silent list. Evan Weissman in chambers. Is Evan on Zoom? No. Sarah Kaplan Gould in chambers.
Hello, council members. My name is Sarah Kaplan Gould, and I'm a resident in Denver City Council District 6. I come here as a member of the Denver Jewish community and as a constituent to call on the council to support the ceasefire proclamation and to use your positions as elected officials to take a clear moral stand that all life is precious and that all people deserve to live with safety and dignity, no exceptions. And I want to add this includes our unhoused neighbors whose lives are threatened when we allow encampment sweeps to happen below freezing. I was so disheartened to hear the conversation that the council had last week, and the larger conversation in this country about how support for the Jewish community is what's keeping people from speaking out for ceasefire. As a Jewish person, I am outraged that tens of thousands of Palestinian people are being killed, injured, and disabled in the name of Jewish safety. I come from a long lineage of Jews who opposed Tsarist military conscription, who fled anti-Semitic pogroms to come to this country for safety. I am outraged by the ways in which our government provides unconditional military support. That's $3.8 billion every year to a country that is plainly in violation of international law. I want to make it clear that the 75-year history of Israeli occupation and dispossession of the Palestinian people diminishes the humanity of all of us, of U.S. taxpayers, of Jews who are used as wedges for the U.S. continued support of military, of Israeli military support. And I'm just here, everything that I heard did not represent me and did not represent my community. There are so many Jews who support an immediate and permanent ceasefire, and who hold that our safety as Jews is inextricably connected to the safety of Palestinians. A ceasefire is a clear moral line to stop Israel's genocidal attacks against Gaza, and just the first step in bringing just peace to all people in the region, so that everyone can be safe and secure with their families. If you don't support this proclamation, don't let it be for supposed support of the Jewish community. You want to stand with the Jewish community, then stand with me and those who support unequivocally international law and human rights for everybody, no exception. Stand with me for ceasefire, stand with me for safety for all Jewish people and all Palestinians. Thank you.
Our next speaker signed up is Kathleen
of you for allowing me and others to speak to you tonight. My name is Kathleen McKenzie, and I live in Counsil District 10. I was privileged to serve on this body from 1999 to 2007, and our failure then to have this kind of public forum was a lamentable lapse, in my opinion, in municipal democracy. So kudos to Councilman Cashman and others who achieved this opportunity for us to talk to you. I'm here tonight to ask you to pass a proclamation calling for an Israeli ceasefire on the war in Gaza. A ceasefire on the Israeli war in Gaza. I have some experience with this. In 2003, when I was on this body, I sponsored a resolution against the Iraq War. I had come of age in the Vietnam era, and I couldn't believe that my country was again going to war halfway around the world with confused objectives. So I thought, I have a platform. I cannot sanction this war with my silence. Then, as now, people said, foreign policy is not the business of the Denver City Council. Then, as now, we have plenty of other problems to address. But some of you may remember how muted dissent was in the post-9/11 period. Then dissent was called anti-patriotism. Now it's called anti-Semitism.
That's right.
The thuggish hounding of people who dare to criticize Israel makes this, in my opinion, another shameful period in American history. It seems that the First Amendment must be defended over and over again. The other lesson that I thought Americans had learned from our Middle East disasters is that terrorist organizations cannot be bombed or assassinated out of existence. They simply reemerge, often in a more dangerous form. Nothing we are doing in Gaza is making us safer. Is that it? Okay.
Our next speaker in queue is Counsil.
Hello, good evening. My name is Counsil. I'm a child and adolescent psychiatrist. I practice and live in Denver. I'm here tonight with two main agenda items, demanding that at least two of you change your vote to a yes for the ban on freezing sweeps, and demanding a ceasefire resolution on Gaza.
Yes.
Looking at the agenda, I see most of us are here for the same thing, so I'll try to keep my remarks brief so you can hear from as many of us as possible. The majority of you campaigned for this office with some sort of promise or discussion around helping those experiencing homelessness. We already know from previous years of doing this that sweeps are not only not the answer, they don't work, but they are also inhumane and undignified. Everyone agreed that another more sustainable solution needed to be found. And yet here we are with no other solution, the crisis getting worse and we continue to sweep. If you can't and cannot do anything to fix this solution, the absolute bare minimum that you can do is ban freezing sweeps. This is truly the least you can do to keep your commitments to Denver. Currently, housing rates are out of control. Rent and mortgage payments are more than most of us make in a month. Child care costs are more than most of us make in a month. With the increases in electric bills, cost of food, and health care being more than the average wage increase any of us have seen in years, and all of these are things you promised to fix. Since you won't do that, the two of you could do the bare minimum again by changing your vote to stop the mayor from vetoing this resolution. Otherwise, what can we expect from our government? That we will be swept aside, pushed further down, and be someone else's problem. Many of you also campaigned on issues of social justice, environmental justice, immigration rights, human rights, or women's rights. And if you cannot see how that directly relates to whether or not we stand up against and call for the end of a genocide in Gaza, in Congo, in Sudan, and all the other places, then you are performative allies. You cannot have clean air if you are allowing the bombing of another country. You do not deserve electric vehicles if the only way you can get them is by destroying the Congo and Sudan. You do not stand for human rights if you allow humans to be bombed, abused, raped, destroyed, and killed. You cannot say you stand for justice if you are quiet during a genocide. You cannot say you stand for justice if you are quiet during a genocide. You cannot champion climate justice if you ignore the impact war bombing and white sulfur have on the earth. You cannot champion climate justice while you allow the destruction of another nation for their resources. You cannot champion climate justice while you allow fracking to continue in our state. Right now, you are performative allies, and we are no longer here for a performance. We are here for action. We demand you uphold your commitments to us, since you were hired by us to speak for us. We demand a ceasefire now, a free Palestine, a free Congo, a free Sudan, an end to genocide against Palestinians, Congolese, Sudanese, Tigray, and Armenian populations. We demand a ban on freezing sweeps. We demand that Denver City Council take action on these issues as members not only of Denver, but of our global community that is interdependent. Land back, free Palestine, ceasefire now.
Good evening. My name is Carissa Garcia, and I live in the 6th District in Denver. I'm an Indigenous person, born and raised in Colorado. My mother grew up in Denver's Five Points on the east side. I'm a descendant of and a survivor of genocide on this land. I served 8 years in the United States Army. I did 2 tours of war. The United States military stole my land and my youth, and they used it to terrorize children all over the world. So today I'm speaking in defense of Palestine for their land, their youth, and their future, which directly impacts our future and the self-determination of Indigenous people everywhere. In 2004, I landed in Iraq and entered the belly of the beast of U.S. imperialism. 20 years later, I still can't sleep, and the Army hasn't paid for my college education. In Iraq, I saw how the lust for oil and power turned men into monsters. I've seen the United States' blatant disregard for all life on this planet, especially Black and brown lives. Make no mistake, the terror in Palestine is not a war. It is genocide. As an Indigenous daughter of these occupied lands, and a disabled veteran of the U.S. military, I cannot stand idly by while we continue to murder children and genocidal people. And neither should you. We are doing our part here today, and we are calling on you, the elected leaders of this city, to do your part. Pass a resolution supporting a ceasefire in Gaza, including the immediate and unhindered passage of humanitarian aid, the release of all hostages and political prisoners, an end to U.S. military funding for Israel that is being used to target and kill tens of thousands of innocent Palestinian civilians, most of whom are children. We must utilize our resources not for the destruction of life, but to provide critical aid to the Palestinian people, to heal our veterans, and to feed and house our struggling siblings right outside these doors.
That's right.
Here is the number.
Thank you for giving me the opportunity to talk. I don't think I've ever done anything like this before. I'm not from Palestine, I'm from Pakistan. I've been in this country for a very, very long time. And, I try to stand up for a lot of people. Anything I think is wrong, if you need help or your cause is right, I will jump on your cause. I think that's the right thing to do, right? The reason why I'm here today, the reason why I'm wearing this is, to have a conversation with people. I feel like there's such a misinformation in this country that starts at the top, right? And trying to manipulate people's thoughts, right? So the goal that I have is when I wear this is to just talk to people, There's no way a regular human being will be against the Palestinian people. It doesn't make sense. It does not make sense. So all we need is a conversation. Right? I was on the chairlift the other day snowboarding, and I was wearing this. And luckily, one of the guys sitting next to me was a Jewish person. He was like, "Hey, I'm Jewish. Can I talk to you?" I was like, "Of course. That's why I wear this, right?" And him and I talked, and we agreed. We're like, what's going on with the Palestinian people is not right? There's the right way of doing it, and there's wrong way of doing it. At the end of the day, I also agree with him for the sake of the conversation. Hamas needs to go. I agree with that. But then understand how you got to get rid of Hamas, right? Hamas is the idea of freedom. Why is everybody coming to Hamas? It's a freedom. They're promising freedom. And you have operation, Israeli says Zionists on the other side, right? So the moral of the story is, out of the conversation that I have with the people on the list, I'm able to educate them, right? You are elected leaders. When we pick you, when we vote for you, we have some confidence level that you are somewhere intelligent. You have somewhere getting your news. You're not watching the same news as we are. You have different channels, right? You know what's going on. So, with respect to Palestinian people, this didn't happen just out of the blue on October the 7th. It happened a long time ago, right? The least you can do now is call for a ceasefire. Recognize that and say, okay, this is not the right way. You're killing people. Right? The right way is come to the table. Let's have a conversation. It's like, okay, they want peace. Let's have a conversation. Not just killing people. Be like Chicago. Be one of the many cities who passed that resolution. Be like California. One of the cities. I see diversity here. It's freaking excellent. Use that. I came to Denver. I'm very new to Denver. And I'm so happy for all these people that are here, and I really urge you. We're supposed to be voting for you with some kind of confidence. Right now, the political system is not the greatest in merits, right? Yeah. So I hope you make the right decision. I hope you vote for a ceasefire.
Next speaker is Senator Chambers Basil Sana.
Hi, Council Sabah, District 8. Dear council members, I'm here today to plead with the council to call for a ceasefire in Gaza and all of Israel. I'm a Palestinian American, and I speak on behalf of all souls who have lost their lives, their limbs, and their dignity in the merciless slaughter. I speak in the name of over 50,000 pregnant women who are now having their children in bombed-out homes and on the streets, with no medical care, clean water, electricity. I speak for the Palestinians here in Denver that have lost hundreds of their family members. Now, many of you may not see a reason to speak on this issue, to take sides, as they say, but I assure you it is time to speak, just as over 50 other cities, including Chicago City Council, have spoken. I invoke the words of Dr. Martin Luther King in his 1967 anti-Vietnam speech. A time comes when silence is betrayal. Our silence is a betrayal of who we are as humans, a betrayal of our values purporting to care for the hungry, the poor, and the weak. Gaza is a piece of land, roughly 25 miles long, 5 miles wide. If you overlay Gaza, here in Denver, it would roughly run from downtown Golden to downtown Aurora, with the width from I-70 to 6th Avenue. Inside this land, you'd have the density of New York City. Now imagine you drop the equivalent of 3 Hiroshima bombs on this area and kill and maim half of the children in the Denver public school system. Now imagine you use those bombs and tanks to destroy every single home and apartment in the entire city of Denver, and violently move 1 million Denverites from West Denver to Aurora, starving or maiming every resident of the city. That's what's happening in Gaza. So I'm calling on you to speak. Dr. King reminds us to call that a call for peace is not when it makes a good photo op. The time to call for peace is when it is uncomfortable, when people call you names, when people spit on you, insult you, and call you an agitator. If today was 1943 and I was a Jew standing before you to call for a ceasefire in Germany and Poland, would you speak? Or would you give me the litany of excuses on why it is just so complicated of an issue for you to be able to utter such a controversial word? I am begging the council to find the courage to call for a ceasefire and try to see the children of Gaza's eyes in your own children's eyes.
Sheriff, can you see if Madeline is in the overflow room? Thank you. I'll go to the next speaker on it, please.
I respect the council members, District 5. My name is Mohammed Fadis. I'm a pediatrician licensed and working here in the great state of Colorado. I'm here today to ask you to call for a ceasefire. As a physician, I've dutifully carried out my duties with many nights spent awake at the bedside of my patients, irrespective of their race, religion, or creed. I've had the privilege to care for Israeli children and Palestinian children alike, and made no distinction based on their background. Make no mistake, children are never guilty of the crime of others. Though it has been emotionally heavy at times, I love my job. I get to heal and care for the children of Colorado and watch them smile and play. However, children in Gaza and the child hostages from Israel have had no such privilege. Today marks day 122 of this conflict. While there is no justification for the acts unleashed on the Israeli people on October 7th, similarly, there is no justification for the horror unleashed on the captive civilian population of Gaza. Gaza is a small enclave of 25 miles by 3 miles at its narrowest. It is home to 2.2 million people, over 60% of whom are children under the age of 18. So far, approximately 35,000 people, and specifically 13,000 children, have been massacred in the IDF's failed invasion of Gaza. While the stated purpose of this invasion was to destroy Hamas and free the hostages, so far exactly 0 hostages have been freed due to military action, and Hamas continues to exist. When will we admit that the current campaign has failed? The campaign has turned into collective punishment of a captive population. It has destroyed over 70% of the homes in Gaza, led to mass starvation, and created what UN Security General Anthony Guterres has described as a graveyard for children. Gaza is now the most dangerous place in the world to be a child. While we have written to our representatives and protested and appealed to our president to call for a ceasefire, or at the very least not provide U.S. arms to further this genocide, our calls have fallen on deaf ears. I instead turn to you, our respective representatives of the city of Denver, to call for a ceasefire, to help promote practical solutions ensuring peace and a future for the children of Gaza and leading to the safe return of hostages. I still remember the proudest moment of my career, the moment on the day of my graduation, as I was surrounded by my colleagues and teachers, when I stood and swore an oath to dedicate my life to the service of humanity. I stand before you today because our collective humanity is at risk. Nothing, and I mean nothing, justifies the preventable death of a child. The death of any child due to war, sickness, starvation is a tragedy and a stain on our collective consciousness. We as a moral community must take a strong stance against the continued assault on childhood before it is too late. I beg of you, call for a ceasefire.
I'm here to ask the City Council to pass a resolution for an immediate and permanent ceasefire in Gaza, demand the release of all hostages, including all Palestinian political prisoners, push for immediate humanitarian assistance, oppose any new military aid to Israel, and publicly condemn Israel's targeting of civilians. When October 7th happened, I watched the news report on the massacres at a kibbutz. I was horrified and couldn't understand how something like this could happen. So I started to do some research. It didn't take long for me to see the necessity of placing what had happened within the context of Israel's 76-year-long brutal occupation and ethnic cleansing of the Palestinian people. It also became clear that criticism of Israel and Zionism is not anti-Semitic, but such criticism is a moral imperative to take action against supremacy and violent settler colonialism. It has been 3 months now of Israel's genocide of Palestinians. Over 30,000 people have been murdered by the Israeli military, and of those murdered, 12,000 are children, while over 66,000 Palestinians have been injured. Israel continues to bomb and besiege hospitals, abduct, torture, and execute civilians, and prevent people's access to clean water and food. The depravity of the Israeli military knows no bounds, and they are being funded by our tax dollars. Every year, 3.8 billion of our U.S. tax dollars are sent to Israel. Last year, Biden bypassed Congress twice to send over $250 million worth of weapons to Israel. Most recently, the Biden administration cut all funding to UNRWA, which has been a critical source of humanitarian aid to Gaza. The U.S. funding of Israel's genocide is disgusting and implicates all of us to take action at all levels of society. This includes Denver City Council. 70 U.S. cities have passed ceasefire resolutions, including San Francisco, Atlanta, and now Chicago is the largest city yet to call for ceasefire. The Palestinian cause is interconnected with both local, national, and global struggles for freedom, from climate justice to reproductive rights, to child protection rights, to police brutality and white supremacy, to the present forced displacement and dehumanization of our migrant community, of which I urge for you to also pass the No Freezing Sweeps bill. And standing with the oppressed, we not only recognize their humanity, but we also free ourselves from the systems that work to keep us atomized and severed from what makes us human. Thank you.
If you can accept that promotion, we'd like to bring you in. No, okay. Move on to Ace Winters.
Just want to consider to look at all of you, since you take so much of our tax dollars. We know that Zionism is anti-Semitism. We know why we're here to call for a ceasefire. But what is often forgotten is the names of the victims of the brutal Israeli occupation that the Zionist entity carries out against the people of Palestine. So today I will be reading a list of names from the dead. Aisha Khalil Hamdan al-Astal, female, 72 years old. Saima Mohammed Suleiman al-Astal, 19 years old. Yamin Abdullah Zakaria Al-Astal, 7 years old. Janan Hamad Nasar Al-Astal, 1 year old. Mian Yaha Yusuf Al-Astal, less than a year old. Naja Abdel Ismail Hasuna, 86 years old. Whose grandmother was she? Abdul Rahman Muhammad Fad Ahmed Hasuna, 27 years old. Was he a young father? Adam Hassan Amin Hasuna, 3 years old. What hopes did his parents have for his future? Gada Nabil Hassan Al-Nahar, 26 years old. That's a year older than me. Did she get to go to college? Fatima Muhammad Hamid Al-Najar, 5 years old. Zayn Al-Din Suleiman Muin Al-Nahar, less than a year old. Rita Wali Jihad Al-Masri, 27. Abdel Razak Ramez Abdel Razak Al-Masri, 9 years old. Ayman Ahmad Ramadan Al-Masri, 1 year old. Rabah Muhammad Abdel Razak Al-Kurd, 51. Jannat Osama Ahmed Al-Kurd, 5. Inshira Muhammad Ayat Shaheen, 29. Shaheen Murad Wali Shaheen, 6 years old.
Thank you very much, Mr. Online to Brian.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Brian, I've been together for 7 years. I'm here speaking in support of a resolution calling for a ceasefire. Let's not start to try to end genocide in Gaza. The bill that passes, we as individuals and as a city become increasingly responsible for the genocide. Our so-called silence or so-called neutrality is anything but. It is overt support of the ongoing and implicit. Ignorance is no longer an excuse. I use defamation on the group promoting to a right that officially maintain, and that no religious failure to start colonialism, influencing, or ideology. My intention tonight is to help the council find the courage to end our work towards justice. By showing our fears of human lives that will inspire action. I'm sending publicly for a month after October 7th, I brace myself for what I knew was coming. Both case racist lies to dehumanize Palestinians, repeated at the highest levels, or immediate government to manufacture resentment about that is coming. I cannot bring myself to post or speak publicly. I fear for my job as the sole source of income for my family. I was afraid of being labeled anti-Semite. I was afraid of re-traumatizing my Jewish friends who were horrified by seeing so many Jews killed in the land they were told was the only way to keep them safe. It's okay to be afraid, I told myself, but I knew it was not okay to remain silent. As we came up preparing that freedom hostages was a distant second to the collective punishment of conflicts and destruction of their civilian infrastructure to encourage voluntary immigration. Our federal government took down by censuring the Jews to leave, passing legislation including Zionism and anti-Semitism, and bypassing Congress to send more weapons to Israel. My fear is silence on the group. And they go by representing my dear friend Omar. He's the descendants of Palestinians ethnically cleansed from Hebron and Gaza in 1967. My wife and I played and sang and laughed with this beautiful 1-year-old twin daughters. They were born 6 weeks premature and spent 3 weeks in the NICU. I kept thinking that if they had been born in Gaza in the last month, they probably would not have survived the Holocaust, sieges, and airstrikes near the house for Gaza. It was Omar's first time being in the West Border, who looked a long Gaza. He was shocked at the level of indifference and ignorance, how everyone seemed to just carry on. I could find I was scared to speak up publicly. I still said I can't do it, get into it. I could tell I hurt him, and I let him down. The next day, my wife and I decided that we had Counsil 2-year older heads high, and said, "Free Counsil, come my would listen." We also do find his friends, and it's in between price to pay while cousins lose everything. We ask you, our representatives, to educate yourselves on the history of education, harness your fear, and help them join 50 other cities in taking this critical step forward. If you fail to act, your silence will only feed your fear. I still plan to sleep after very moments of the daily hour of fears that I have to work to have my family off the streets, while my labor generates the money used to kill wars and Gaza. But I still can make sure to you today, and I think I will sleep sound. Good night. Thank you all, and Free Palestine forever.
So I appreciate you all coming out, I appreciate your solidarity. Next session will be on Monday, February 12th, Senate begins at 11 a.m. this Friday, February 9th. We look forward to hearing from you again. Thank you for attending.
I'll be passing the resolution.
Ceasefire now! 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 Ceasefire now!
Shut up. Yeah. Good. Good to see you.
Ceasefire now! 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 Ceasefire now!
I'm sorry. We do have the ability to tell the difference between proportional response and slaughter. Come on. We can tell the difference. We can read the news. We can do maths. We can see photos. Your eyes do not deceive you. The gaslighting of all of us standing here in this hallway, please do not give in to that. You are right. You are right about what's happening, and I appreciate you coming here to say it to us. We represent all of you.
Yeah.
We represent all of you. Islamophobia, bigotry, filter bubbles, laziness about the media that we consume, you know, burying our kids in the sand, that concerns your Denver city government. Chantal and I are not going to give up.
I mean, we will keep fighting. We are here for you. As she said, we're not lying. We see what's happening. We can name it genocide. As a mom, I am devastated and disgusted by the dialogue that's happening and the inaction. And so she and I are committed to a ceasefire. And if that means that it's just she and I together, that's what it is.
It's not, right? Yes. We're standing up here. All of you are here. Thank you for coming.
Got your back.
What's it gonna take to pass a resolution? Propose it.
So we did propose, we brought it to think of last week. It's all in there at this point.
It'll be on the agenda next Monday night.
We'll be back. 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 We'll be back.
Let me leave y'all with this, because I come from an activist background, and we say this. I don't know who said this, that they show up when other folks are in need. If it's a good cause, I think if it's a good cause, same. And so I would just leave y'all with this. Repeat after me. It is our duty to fight for our freedom.
It is our duty to fight for our freedom.
It is our duty to win.
It is our duty to win.
We must love each other.
We must love each other.
Support each other.
Support each other.
We have nothing to lose but our chains.
We have nothing to lose but our chains.
It is our duty to fight for our freedom.
It is our duty to fight for our freedom.
Our duty to win.
It is our duty to win.
We must love each other.
We must love each other.
Support each other.
Support each other.
We have nothing to lose but our chains.
We have nothing to lose but our chains.
I love y'all. Let's go.
Amazing.
That's my love.
I mean, seriously. Okay.
We'll be back. 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 We'll be back.
Thanks for joining us at Denver City Council. Ceasefire now. Love you. We'll be back next Monday night.